Maybe it's a retirement of a generation. People, public school types who could look for another career in the city and they want to get out before they, whatever. They would all be part of the
It,
failure.
well, you'll normally find them popping up on various TV channels as presenters. But I do think this whole defeatism is extraordinary because if you remember when Trump was and Clinton went head to head for the presidents, they even everybody went to bed assuming that Hillary had won, and in the morning here's Donald. And I think if you have this defeatist attitude, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, doesn't it, Johnny?
Yes, yes, it does. And they already know that they're going to be defeated. So they're already like running away from the center of the explosion where it's going to happen. But also there's an attempt. I mean, the Conservative Party, as set up by Peel himself, really and defined during that era, is really on the brink of changing rapidly in a way that it hasn't done for over 150 years. There's something really big happening there, and you see that they know they on the second unelected leader in a row, you've got trouble. They've turned their back on a lot of the Brexiteers who voted them into power by on the mandate that they're going to stop immigration, etc. And then we've seen over 2 million immigrants come in, and so now they have to realign, and the whole parties are shifting. Of course, Labour has been moving to the right, and the Tories have moved so far to the left that they're indistinguishable from Labour, and some Tories are just now hopping off the ship and hopping onto the other ship. Well, the fact is that what we've got to look at is the leadership. That's really important because Rishi Sunak is not going to be the leader after this election, for sure. And so they knew that, but they know they've got no one waiting in the wings. And I think that was the reason why David Cameron was brought back, even though he's had a peerage, brought back in just in case that they need an emergency leader. And they're now trying. I mean, if you listen to Jacob Rees-Mogg and you've heard his talks with Nigel Farage, they're trying to convince Nigel Farage to come back into the Conservative fold, and they're treating him as the prince across the water at the moment. So they know they need to reform it. They know they need a new leader, and every part of the Conservative Party is working really hard to try and get their man back in charge. But the part of the existing Conservative Party has no new ideas. That's why they end up bringing back in Cameron, and Cameron won't be able to become leader unless he hands away his peerage. So that's going to be an interesting thing to see. And I think eventually it is going to be complete realignment. We're going to see people like Farage and others come back into the Conservative, and it become basically a completely different party, rewritten from what the origins of the Conservative Party was originally.
Yeah,
Well, it would be
I
the
think
MAGA,
you're right.
make,
Yes.
make Britain great again, something like the
Well,
MAGA movement in the US.
and yes, you follow Biden's thing. It's the greatest country in the world, and everybody sort of says that, and that's what leaders have to do. I know Nigel very well. We share studios every now and again, and I think people were quite disappointed he didn't stand this time.